Before the arrival of the Europeans to the Americas, Native American cultures thrived on the vast continent. These indigenous nations maintained a close relationship with natural ecosystems. Lakes in particular were important sources of sustenance and sacred spaces for religious and other rituals. But there was also modification of the landscape, such as deforestation, terracing, and building of water channels to control floods and irrigate crops. At the end of the 15th century, with the arrival of Spanish, European agricultural practices were quickly established. In addition to the catastrophic reduction in indigenous populations, many more areas were deforested for livestock, agriculture, and mining. It is very important to know how the lakes have changed with human impact, since lakes are sources of life and drinking water. Lakes only occupy 0.8% of the Earth's surface and contain only 0.01% of the world's fresh water, but they are home to a very high proportion of Earth's biodiversity. Fresh water is a scarce resource, dangerously threatened by human activities and climate change. A recent paleoenvironmental study examined sedimentary and paleolimnological records from several mountain lakes in Guatemala, Panama, and Colombia. The protagonists of this research are found in almost any body of water. Diatoms. Diatoms are tiny algae that form the basis of aquatic food chains in lakes. Each species of diatom is adapted to inhabit certain parts of the lake and to live under specific conditions, thus that diatoms can be used to identify changes in water quality and understand the health of lakes over time. For example, nutrients, acidity, turbidity, salinity, and toxic substances are reflected by specific diatom associations. To study the past of a lake, cores are drilled at their bottoms. There, in the accumulated sediments, the environmental history of the lake and its watershed is recorded. Researchers extract the diatoms, analyze them under the microscope, and this is how they reconstruct the lake's history. This study identified that in each of the lake's history, there was a unique moment in which the diatoms that inhabited the lake were very different from those in the past. At that moment, diatom species indicate that a drastic environmental change had happened. The historical moment in which this change occurred varied in each lake. In some cases, it was as early as 5,000 years ago, while in others, it was after the arrival of Europeans. The archaeology and vegetation history of the lake and surroundings show that during this time of change, there was an increase in human activities such as deforestation, agriculture, drainage, and soil erosion. The response of lakes to human activities differed depending on the lake's depth. In shallow lakes, diatoms associations changed successively over time until they had that unique new composition. In the deeper lakes, diatom associations changed almost abruptly to that new association. The different response between deep and shallow lakes to human impact is most likely due to the fact that in shallow lakes, there's a more efficient mix of the entire water column and its nutrients, as well as more area for the colonization of aquatic plants, which facilitates the rapid response of diatoms. This study concluded that the new diatom associations represent unprecedented changes in the lakes. These diatom associations have less species diversity, which suggests that these lakes have lost or are losing their former ability to recover from human impacts. This effect is of paramount concern, as the ability of lakes and wetlands to adapt to conditions of climate variability and anthropic pressures is crucial for sustaining the biosphere on the planet. The overexploitation of aquatic ecosystems, deforestation, the invasion of species, soil erosion, and contamination end up degrading our water sources to drinking water and food production, endangering human well-being and even the subsistence of life itself.